All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Master Esteban Baez, and I am a fifth degree black belt in Taekwondo, recognized through the World Taekwondo Federation. I'm also a student of personal development, and today we have a special show regarding self esteem. Um, Please make sure that you also visit our website, which is reprogramyourself.com, to find out more information and to watch some of our previous shows. Today I have with me my good friend Justin Kudens, who is a certified hypnotherapist. Justin, are you there?
Yes, I am, Master Baez. It is a pleasure to be here with you. It's a pleasure to be here with you, the viewer, and be able to really get into this subject that so many people are benefiting from, and that is how self-esteem affects communication and what you can do to help improve that.
Excellent, excellent. So that's the topic today. So communication, this is one of the most important topics I believe, Justin, affects every single human being. And in communication, many things can happen. In fact, communication affects every dimension of our lives. I believe that communication affects our relationships, the way we relate with our family, our parents, our siblings, the way we relate with our friends, our partners, our children. I mean, everything happens with communication. And I think, as we get into the subject today, regarding self esteem, Justin, how does your self esteem, how you feel about yourself, affect communication? Let's answer that question.
Yeah, great question. At the very basis, your self-esteem works like a filter. And when you are receiving a communication from someone, it's going to go through that filter. Now, we all have filters in our minds, and they're based on our past experiences. As we have discussed in some of the other videos as well, your self-esteem is based on past experiences. So what's happening is you're receiving communication, we'll say from a loved one, or even maybe your boss or your children. But as you're receiving this information in, be it a comment, it may even be a compliment, it's going to go through that filter, and what you understand is going to be based in large part by your self-esteem, especially when it's about you.
Wow. So this is key information. What you're saying is that we have a filter when people are talking with us. So right now, as we're talking with each other and to our viewers, they're processing this information through a filter. Is that correct?
Yep, that is exactly correct. And that is, I mean, just being human is what's going on the outside is not actually what we're responding to. What we're really responding to is what's going on the inside. That's the interpretation, your interpretation of what that is on the outside.
Wow. So basically, when I'm talking with my wife, I'm basically listening to her through my filter. So it's even though she's communicating with me, I'm reorganizing what she's saying in my mind and understanding. And hopefully, if I'm doing this right, I will be filtering it in a way that I'm actually understanding her, not necessarily hearing myself or what I got out of it. But I gotta try to figure out in reality what she is trying to communicate. So that's not always very easy, Justin. So what are some of the things we can do to really listen and understand people and understand ourselves in communication?
Great question. Now the key is that you cannot not filter. Okay? It's so important to understand that. It is being human that we are interpreting things based on our self-esteem, our understanding of things, our learning. even down to those childhood experiences again. You can never not filter. It's all about having useful filters. Master Baez, viewer, having inside of you useful filters that create a greater benefit compared to a greater problem.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll share a personal experience, and I think this happens to a lot of us. So let's say my significant other, my spouse, my partner, is communicating something about me, right? It could be any topic, it doesn't matter. But I hear in my mind that she is uh, accusing me. Let's just say that. I feel like she's accusing me, or I feel like I get really tense when I'm hearing the communication. I guess maybe even stressed out about it, and I might even cut her off in the communication because I feel like I have to defend myself. Is it possible that the person or my partner was just expressing themselves and not accusing me, not judging me, but just sharing their feelings, but I misinterpret through my filter and I get upset, angry, and I feel like I have to defend myself? Is now when I do that, what's happening? Is it my low self-esteem kicking in, or am I hearing the right thing? What happens when someone is communicating something and you feel negative feelings?
Yeah, communication is a very dynamic subject, and there's a there's a lot to that question right there. One, communication is is definitely a two-way, street. It's not just, person A is, saying this to you, and then, your person B, and you're interpreting it based on your filters. It may also be, there is nonverbal communication. Okay, it's not just the words, but how it's being said, and the body language that it's being communicated with, and the person who is communicating also has filters and is also basing that communication on their self-esteem. So, and let me just keep going with this. So it's not just you, or may not just be you, may also be the other person. It may also be your boss or your loved one or your spouse or your wife or your husband, for the viewer. But that's okay, because you have to understand that the core is you can't really change the other person. But you can, because you don't really have control of the other person unless they want and they seek to change. But what you can do is change your interpretation or how you respond. Okay, so I just want to make that clear, is that it may not just all be one-sided of how you're receiving it, but there also could be things in the person who's communicating.
Right, of course.
But you can't change that. You can only accept it and change yourself and how you interpret it and how you respond to it. So let's just focus on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, I think there's two types of communicating. Like you said, when someone is directly expressing themselves, they're not necessarily judging or criticizing. They're just sharing their feelings about something. And then there's another type of communication where someone is trying to make you feel bad. They're literally, cursing you, or they're no longer expressing themselves. They're just doing something. So I think part of self-esteem and communication, I think the most important thing to remember is that no matter what people are saying to me, or what I'm perceiving from people, I can always say, if somebody is directly insulting me, for example, I can always say, that's that person's opinion of me, but that doesn't mean it's the truth,
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
but let's talk about the filters. How can one have a filter like that, where someone is directly communicating, something negative towards me? I let's say an insult. and I can take that and have a filter that says, okay, that's that person's opinion of me. That doesn't mean it's true, and I can remain calm and not let that affect me. And now I'm not talking about my spouse. I'm talking about being put in a situation where I did something and someone takes it so personal, and let's say it was an accident, and they curse me out or they insult me because they think I did it on purpose. This could happen. Um, I want to focus on the filters. How does one have a filter that helps me feel good about myself and
Sure.
help me feel good about others too? How can I
hmm
have a filter like that?
There's a couple different techniques to go about this. Okay, what I usually one great thing that you could do is be able to first clear out and then begin to rebuild. And you can clear out by going back in your mind, okay, in a going to a comfortable, relaxed state where you can inner focus, where you can focus inward, and going back to maybe some of those times, could have been in your childhood or in early relationships, and going through and begin to disassociate from those experiences. And we did this, I think it was last week or the week before. We actually did this technique where you go through some of those hard times, and we were talking about being angry and stepping out of those. Okay, so that's the first step, is that you're beginning to disassociate or be able to look at those bad experiences that you may have learned from, or learned, how your old way of responding. And then the next step is to now begin to build in new experiences and new ways of doing that. So the viewers can also review some of those old videos. Go to the website, sign up, go to your YouTube channel, check out some of those old techniques that we've already covered. And now let's talk about beginning to build in some new filters.
Okay.
Okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to begin to change how we feel inside, okay, when someone gives an insult. Because there's some people, and even and all of us, really to a certain degree, that someone could say something mean, and they could even mean it, but they go, hey, the person receiving that communication laughs it off. Says, yeah, whatever, right? Can you think of a person like that? I'm sure you can.
I can think of a few people.
Yeah,
No,
they got
there's always people that manifest or that show that, and there's other people that show love, kindness, happiness, and then you run across people that are not like that for whatever reason. Um, it could be. I'll tell you an experience. I went to go fix my phone, and at a store, I do my phone with T-Mobile, right? So I went to the store and my phone was broken, and I asked the person to help me. And the person was so rude. I've never met this person before. I have a problem. I've been with the company for years, and when you're paying money for something, you expect at least that the person be polite. You don't need them to be super nice, but at least to be polite is something that's an expectation that I personally have when I do business with anyone, or with any company. So this person was the rudest, meanest person ever, and did not treat me the way I feel a customer should be treated. And I felt really angry about that. I felt hurt, and I literally wanted to curse this person out, because my filter was saying this person is rude and this person is mean. So I filter that as this person doesn't like me and I don't like them either. And I'm going to let them know that I don't like them as well. So I think that goes back to a filter, that I probably, if I had a different filter, I could have even made the person feel better and at that moment in time, and made them have a good day. Or maybe even if not, it wouldn't have had a negative effect on me like it did that day. And the situation did turn out towards my favor eventually, but I remember feeling so strong about the way the person treated me. Where I think if I had a different filter at the time, it would have just been just like I would have rubbed it off. It would have been nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. A good way of a good metaphor is you might have heard this is water off of a duck's back, right? It just goes right off, right?
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and start to build in that water off a duck's back filter or state of control. So to do that, what I invite you to do is just go ahead and relax your body and close your eyes. If closing your eyes allows you to focus your attention inward easier. That's right. Go ahead and close your eyes. Relax. Relax your shoulders. Relax your back. And now what I'd like you to do is bring up a feeling of joy, a feeling of laughter, and allow that laughter to build inside of you. Allow it to come up. How do you feel laughter in your body? Notice it. That's right. You can't help but smile. Allow that smile to continue and to grow. And as you do this, begin to allow that laughter to fill your body, even to come up around you and be within you and around you, like a bubble of joy. Feel it inside, and continue to feel it inside as you go back through and go to that situation or any situation where there was that person over there insulting you. And now, as you continue to feel that laughter, that joy inside, notice how you respond to that person over there who's trying to insult you. That's right. You're beginning to build in a new state. And you always start with the state you want, the feeling you want, and then go into the situation that you want to change, that you want to allow this feeling to act as a basis and a foundation for. So now go back to another time, keeping the joy, keeping that laughter, that easiness, that nothing can affect you at all attitude. And you can even work with that attitude, the filter now, make it a little stronger, personalize it. Maybe you want to add in a little wit. And go to another time in your past where there was some bad communication. It may not have even been a person who's really insulting you, but maybe just some communication that maybe you didn't interpret as well as you could have. Hold on to the feeling of joy, laughter, easiness, wit, and go through the experience, now changing how you respond to it. And you can cycle that a couple times. As soon as you go to the end, start off in the beginning again. Each time you go through, you'll find it easier and easier to feel okay. That's right. And right now, one more time, a little further back in your past. Bring up that feeling of joy, easiness. That's right. And now go through the experience, holding on to the joy, the wit, the easiness. And notice how the whole experience changes because of how you respond differently. You're responding differently now. You're responding differently in the future. That's right. And what's happening right now is not only are you creating new filters or strengthening filters that's already inside of you, you're also making new connections in your mind. You're making new connections like roads being paved for cars to travel on between new cities. You're now making a road between feeling joy, comfort, and letting things go or responding differently. And where it used to be the spot of insult equals anger, now it's insult equals laugh it off. And just continue to practice this. Your mind learns incredibly fast. And in about 1 minute, you can go through 3, 4, 5, or even 10 different experiences, changing how you respond to them, changing how you respond now in the future. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. That was good. Master Esteban, would you like to share your experience?
Of course. Key thoughts from the top of my mind right away when you asked me to think about a joyful moment, joyful experience. I love comedy. And I just thought of a couple of stand-up comedians that I enjoy, that I've seen perform. And I just remember those moments and the funny moments also in my family life with my kids. So I remember that and I let that fill in. And then when you said go to an experience where someone insulted you with that state, obviously it wasn't hurtful because I was already feeling good about myself. So it was like you got the wrong guy. That was the expression, was somebody was insulting me and I was just like, you got the wrong guy. You're not going to ruin my day type of attitude.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That was the phrase that came up. You got the wrong guy, because I'm happy. And anything you say to insult me or to change that, it's not going to happen because I was already there and I didn't want to leave. Because you said surround yourself with the laughter and keep that with you. And now go to an experience you said that where the communication didn't go as smooth. You know, I think some of the most important communications are the communication we have with our partners. And because it affects everything. We love our partners so much. I love my wife so much that when I'm not in harmony with her, it affects me. So and I know it affects her too. So I visualized one of those moments when, you know, she was communicating with me and I filtered it in a way that wasn't productive. You know, I really didn't listen. And I think part of communication, when somebody says I didn't really listen, what really happened is they filtered it in a way that didn't help the other person feel understood. So that's what happens. So, or I can get ahead and try to think I know what she's saying, but I'm way off. So I remember putting that laughter on and really hearing her. And when I was relaxed and laughing, I really was able to hear her feelings, exactly what she meant to say, exactly how she meant it to be interpreted. And I know that's interesting because I don't think people think in the terms of interpreting people when they're speaking the same language. But I think many times you have to. If you want to have excellent and great communication, you have to think in the terms of how did they mean for me to take this? And if it was an insult, then you will filter that through your filters and decide what you're going to feel about it. And if it wasn't an insult, it was just a communication that was taking place, then understanding the other person. And if it was something useful for you, then keep that. And I think when we love someone so much, we have to remember that before we can love them, we need to love ourselves. So we need to have good filters so that we don't harm our self-esteem, taking everything wrong. There's people that no matter how good or how many compliments you give them, they still filter it as you're just saying that, or you're just trying to make me feel good, when in reality it could have been a genuine compliment, and it could have been something true about the other person. But that's the key thing. I think, it's very dear to my heart, communication and understanding people. And I think before I can understand others, I need to remember what filters I have in my head that trigger certain feelings. Uh, and many times those feelings aren't being triggered by the people when they're communicating, but they're still being filtered through those filters. So I think I want to let go of some of those filters, and I want to replace the one of them that I know I have with laughter. So that's the conclusion I have with the exercises. I'm going to take laughter and use it as a tool when when there's communication taking place with someone that it's not going smoothly. I'm going to say, okay, this is time to put on the laughter filter. Not to laugh and insult the other person either, but to feel relaxed and joyful as I'm listening to this, maybe the tough communication that's taking place, or a communication that's not as comfortable. So that's my conclusion.
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. And that's such an awesome experience. And you, the viewer, your experience is going to be unique. You're going to, your laughter, that feeling is going to be unique to you. Your experiences and your results are going to be unique. So, keep working with it too. Very powerful. And one last thing that I want to add is that, or maybe two things, is the laughter is not meant to laugh at the person by any means. What laughter is a flexible state. And the great thing about laughter is that it's flexible, it's different than what you felt before, and it's very physical, because when you laugh, it's like a jolt in your physical body. It comes up. It's a physical, expression of laughter, smiling. So all it is to break that state and allow you to be more flexible in how you respond versus whatever those old ways that weren't serving you how you wanted them.
That's excellent, because sometimes I go into into some states where I'm communicating and I'm like, no, I didn't mean that. But not being flexible, I'm automatically going into those states, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel this, or I don't want the communication to go in this direction, in this situation. But it's going there, and I don't seem to be able to stop it. And I think flexibility, or feeling joyful through laughter, I can be more flexible and be able to get out. So this is a great tool you're giving me, and I'm sure that the viewer, as you're watching, please watch all of our videos. We have exercises in all the videos that if you were to hire a hypnotherapist, a session with a one-on-one session with a hypnotherapist can cost anywhere from $50 to $100 an hour, and we're providing this for you. So we hope that these videos can help you increase your self-esteem and have better relationships with others, better relationship with yourself, have more abundance in your financial life, be happier in your career, be happier in your life. That is the goal of these videos. So thank you everyone for watching. Please visit the website reprogramyourself.com, as we have a special self-esteem building technique that is not being shared in the videos that you're seeing now. Justin, do you have any final thoughts?
I just wanted to say thank you to our viewers. That special technique that is available there, it is no charge for it, as all of our videos. All you gotta do is jump on and onto our newsletter, the Reprogram Yourself newsletter, to get updates on our upcoming videos and just connect in with the community.
Excellent. So thank you everyone for watching, and we look forward to our next video next week. And also coming up, we're preparing a live event where you can meet us in person and do some of these techniques with us one-on-one. But we'll put more information about that on our website, and you can get emails and updates once you register. Thank you everyone again. This is Master Bias and Justin Kunz signing off.